what really inspired me to want to work on other areas of my life is just seeing how strong and incredible I could be in the gym.
I wanted to challenge myself a little bit more and gain a little bit more strength.
I wanted to be stronger, and I've done a bit of it before, and I just wanted to do more.
I'm willing to try things that I will fail at and know that through those failures I will succeed eventually.
I feel like before I started the coaching, I kind of had a vague general idea of what happiness looked like.
It's been amazing to explore what my body can do.
I always feel better after the class, have more energy. I'm definitely stronger.
Knowing that in this class and in the strong group training that there's things that I've done that I didn't think I could do, but just by getting started or just by doing it once has hugely increased my confidence.
You give different levels, so whether it's a level 1, 2, 3, we can push ourselves to that. I'd probably find myself now more level 2, maybe pushing level 3. When I walked in here, I was definitely level 1.
To have someone to inspire me and also make me believe that I can achieve what I want, it's very empowering to be able to just say, okay, then I'm going to make a change and I'll be okay. The universe will catch me.
All right, before we dive in here, I just want you to know that the ladies you just heard from are a perfect example of the amazing women you're going to be surrounded with when you join the 90-day challenge. But I'm going to start just by asking you a question. Are you already dead? Now, most people equate death with the day that you die. Now, the way I see it, death is the day that you stop living. And you stop living the day that you decide to settle. You settle for a level of health and fitness far from where you want to be. You settle for a relationship that's totally void of intimacy and passion. You settle for a lack of connection with your friends and your family. And you settle for the anxiety, stress, and unhappiness you feel daily. And you settle for a career that's just a means to pay the bills. So I'll ask you again, are you already dead? If you're honest with me and with yourself, the answer is probably yes. But here's a question I'm going to have you consider. Do you want to start living again? Now I'm going to let one of my clients, Lisa, share her story with you. Then I'm going to walk you through exactly what you need to do to bring yourself back from the dead and start living again. I'm willing to bet that, like Lisa, you've spent most of your life climbing a mountain only to get to the top and realize a very painful truth. You're on the wrong mountain. What you thought would make you happy just doesn't. But I'll let Lisa share it in her own words and her own voice, so you can see that even if you are on the wrong mountain, you don't have to spend the rest of your life there.
When I was young, I had a dream to build a happy life. I saw my parents, my sisters, my friends, and they all took the same path up the mountain. Found a partner, married young, had kids, went to university, got a degree, landed a secure job, saved money, moved out, bought a house. It seemed logical to me. Okay, so if I just follow A, B, C, I will be happy. And really, no one told me I had to do it. It was my choice. But it was really the only path I could see. And so I put my head down and grinded it out. I did everything I was supposed to do. I took each step up the mountain, so fucking focused on getting to the top. If I could just get to the top, I'd have it all. I could be so fucking happy. Almost there, just keep going. The moment I got to the top of the mountain, I lifted my head to look around. It was dark, cloudy, barren, lifeless. It was nothing like what I had imagined. This is what I spent my entire life working towards? How could this be? This isn't what I want. At first, I try to dress it up and pretend like I love it at the top of this mountain. But I can't. I'm unhappy. And yet everyone who is at the top of the mountain with me loves the view. It's like they somehow can't see the same things that I see. And maybe they can't. I start to look around, really look around. And off in the distance, I see another mountain. It is lush and alive and more beautiful than anything I have ever seen. I start to dream about what it would be like to live on that mountain, and it only serves to make the ground that I'm standing on seem even more ugly. I think about escaping, running down the mountain I'm standing on, leaping off the edge, but every possible out is terrifying to me. No, I should just make this work, somehow make myself be happy with where I am and what I can see. I should just stop looking at that other mountain. It's probably not as nice as it seems anyways. But it doesn't work. I'm not happy. I look up longingly at the other mountain. I look beside me and I see smiling faces. I break down. I cry. I'm paralyzed. Fear, sadness, brokenness. But then it hits me. I love myself. I fucking love myself. I have a choice. I ask myself, what is more terrifying? Living a life of certain unhappiness, or taking a risk with even the slightest hope of all-encompassing, deep, uninhibited, true, authentic happiness and love? I walk over to the mountain's edge, a cliff that looks out onto a sea of darkness. I close my eyes. I take a deep breath. My legs are shaking. My heart is racing. I lift my foot. I hesitate for a moment. But then I take one brave step out into the void, and I do not fall. I look down, shocked that I have not fallen. There's a bridge. How did I not see this before? I take another step, and another, and another, until I reach the other mountain. I am home.
Perhaps you're standing on the top of your own mountain right now, looking around and wondering to yourself, is this all there is? Is this as good as it gets? Now, whether it's your physical health that's not where you want it to be, your relationships that you settle for instead of seeking more, your emotional well-being that is anything but well, or you're trading your time for finances instead of fulfillment, you're watching this because something's missing. And what's missing are the 4 pillar keys that are going to take you from where you currently are to a place and a life so beautiful you probably haven't even imagined it yet. And you haven't imagined it yet because you would never believe it's possible for you. But I can guarantee you this. Over the next 20 or so minutes, you will see that not only is it possible, you'll have the tools to actually make it happen. The tools to give yourself clarity, to accept yourself, and to love yourself, and create a truly fulfilling life for yourself and the people you love. So let's get started. Pillar key number 1 is the prep work. The first step in changing anything in your life is always the same. We need to first assess and establish exactly where we're starting from. So right now we're going to strip you down and see what we're dealing with. Because when you physically stand naked in front of the mirror, you see everything. Every roll, every wrinkle, every muscle, every birthmark, your entire physical body is totally exposed. Now, unless you close your eyes, there's no hiding from the truth. But with every other area of our lives, most of us choose to live with our eyes closed. Today we're going to open them up. When did you last stand naked in front of the relationship mirror? When did you last stand naked in front of the emotional mirror? When did you last stand naked in front of the professional mirror? Now, when your body and your level of fitness start to go south, you know it right away because you can see it plain as day. And everyone around you can see it too. But when it comes to pretty much every other area of your life, you can hide the truth pretty easily, can't you? You've heard it countless times before, and I'll repeat it here. Know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Well, that's bullshit. Just knowing something isn't good enough. What you need to do is take action. And that's exactly what we're going to do right now, with 2 simple questions. Question number 1, what are the facts? And number 2, how do you feel about the facts? I'm going to go over 20 simple yes or no questions. No maybes, no gray area, just the cold, hard yes or no facts. Each yes is going to be worth 5 points. Each no is going to be worth -5 points. Now, if you have a pen and paper right now, you can do it right now. Just write out the numbers 1 to 5 4 times in 4 separate columns, just like this. Beside each number, you will write either +5 for yes or -5 for no. Are you ready? So let's start exposing the facts. What are the facts when it comes to your physical health? Do you exercise 3 to 5 times a week for 20 minutes or more? Yes or no? Do you eat fried and or processed foods less than 3 times a week? Yes or no? Do you feel rested and energized throughout the day? Yes or no? Are you able to run, walk, lift, and be active free of pain? Yes or no? And are you proud of the body you see in the mirror? Yes or no? If at any point in time I'm going too fast, just pause the video and keep going after that. So now we're going to take a look at the facts when it comes to your relationships. Do you have sex at least once a week with your partner? Yes or no? No partner? Do you have sex with yourself at least once a week? Yes or no? Sexual pleasure and sexual desire is there whether you're with a partner or not, and it needs to be satisfied. Now, do you have a date night every week with your partner? Yes or no? Again, no partner? Then do you have a date night every week with yourself? Yes or no? Now, do you feel connected with your partner? Yes or no? Again, no partner? Do you feel connected with yourself? Yes or no? Not everybody wants a partner. Not everybody needs a partner. Sometimes yourself is enough, so answer these questions that way. Now, do you have deep, meaningful friendships? Yes or no? And do you feel connected with your family? Yes or no? Now we're going to take a look inside the facts of your emotional well-being. Now, do you reveal your true self to the world? Yes or no? Do you take time to feel your negative emotions? Yes or no? Do you accept compliments from others easily? Yes or no? Do you think you are worthy of being loved? Honestly? Yes or no? Now, do you manage stress and anxiety in a healthy manner? Yes or no? Not alcohol, not sex, not Netflix, but in a healthy manner. Now, finally, what are the facts when it comes to your professional fulfillment? Do you love what you do? Yes or no? Does your job give you a sense of purpose? Yes or no? Would you be involved in your field without being paid? Yes or no? Does your work positively impact the lives of others? Yes or no? Now, does your work cause you to grow as a person? Yes or no? So how did you do on exposing the facts? Well, we're going to figure that out right now. We just covered the prep work, which is physical health, relationships, emotional well-being, and professional fulfillment. The prep work is the basis for ensuring you're doing, being, and having everything you want in your life. Now, before we move on to how you feel about the facts, let's see how you added up. You'll notice that each category of the prep work had 5 questions, which means you could score a max of plus 25 in any category, or a max of negative 25 on the other end of the scale. So go back now and add up your totals in each area. Yeah, I'm still waiting on you to finish it. Alright, so what was your prep work total score? Well, what does that total score even mean? Well, essentially it's an indicator of how dead you are or how alive you are. On the side north of plus 50, it's an indicator that you're true to yourself and others, that you own who you are, express who you are, and love who you are, that you value yourself, you value others, and you value life. Now, on the lower or negative side of the spectrum, it's indicative of your desire to please others in spite of yourself. You would rather avoid pain at all costs and deal with it, and you don't believe you can live the life that you want. And you've probably even forgotten about what truly makes you happy. Now that we've uncovered the facts, let's get to your feelings. This won't take long at all because I only have one question for you. How do you feel about your number? What's just one word that comes up for you when you see your score? Be brutally honest about your feelings. Don't hold anything back here. Just being honest about the facts is not enough. You need to be honest about how you feel about the facts as well. So pillar key number 2 is the doors of denial. Now that you have your score, which is indicative of how happy and fulfilled you are, we're going to take a closer look at what's really going on. We're going to take a peek behind closed doors, the ones you've kept closed for God only knows how long. Before we do though, I'm going to share this little analogy with you. When I was around the age of 10, I never cleaned my room. My parents would bribe me, threaten me, anything they thought would work, but I never cleaned it. The threats and bribes got especially creative when company was coming over, because my parents didn't want anyone to see the disaster area that was my bedroom. But it didn't matter what they tried, I wasn't having it. So what did they do when the company came over? They just closed the door to my room. That way nobody could see the mess that was on the other side. You already know where I'm going with this, don't you? My parents can keep that door closed all they want, but that's not going to make the mess go away. And whether you don't realize it or just aren't willing to face it yet, you've got your own doors of denial that you're avoiding opening, don't you? Maybe you make excuses for missing the gym and not eating right. ignoring the fact that the longer you do that, the more you are literally killing yourself. Maybe you're in a relationship you know you should have ended a long time ago, but you either convince yourself that it's too late to leave, or you just avoid thinking about it and dealing with it altogether. In every single area of the prep work, we all have our doors of denial. But don't worry, we're not going to open them just yet. Instead, I'm going to have you make a mental or physical note of just one thing. When it comes to the prep work, which door of denial is the hardest for you to open right now? Physical health, relationships, emotional well-being, or professional fulfillment? And I'll ask you just one more question before we move on. And you can answer it mentally or write it down. What is it costing you to keep that door closed? Now, inside the 90-Day Self-Empowerment Challenge, we're going to crack open those doors. I've done this with women, and the result has been saving their marriage. Others, it's been the courage to leave their relationship. Others, it's been the turning point in their physical health. And others still, it's been getting rid of that emotional baggage. One woman even had the courage to up and quit her career and pursue her passion. Now, either way, when you open up the doors of denial and clean things up, only then will you feel truly happy, truly fulfilled, and truly empowered. Pillar number 3 is the turnaround tool. Now, here's the thing about getting in touch with reality. It stings. If you've ever found out that someone has been lying to you, or that a friend, family member, or coworker has been talking behind your back, let's be honest with each other for a second here. It fucking sucks. And opening the doors of denial is essentially the same thing. Because by the very definition, you've been denying the truth, which means you've been lying to yourself for who knows how long. And that's precisely why we lie to ourselves and others, because the truth can hurt. But what if there are a way to manage your pain? But not just manage it. What if there are a way to use the lies you've been telling yourself to actually improve your life? What if when people talk behind your back and wronged you, you were not only able to get over it a lot faster, but you actually got yourself to a place where you actually thanked the person that wronged you? Sounds insane, doesn't it? You know what's really insane? Walking around with resentment, anxiety, or guilt for weeks, months, or even years. Warning, what I'm about to share with you is insane. And by insane, I mean if you consider the magnitude of what I'm about to tell you, every part of the prep work inside of your life will completely transform. Now I'm going to talk to you about something I call turnaround time. Dr. Joe Dispenza, New York Times bestselling author of Becoming Supernatural, calls this the refractory period. Rather than just tell you about it though, I want you to think about something. Think about a time when you were really hurting. Maybe it was a breakup, maybe it was the death of a loved one, maybe a close friendship went south, maybe you were fired. Whatever it is, pull up and pay attention to how it feels. Whenever something or someone triggers a negative emotion in us, it puts us in a mood. Let's say a coworker was talking shit behind your back. Well, you may not let that go for a couple weeks. If that's the case, then your refractory period or your turnaround time is a couple of weeks. Now, every time you see that person over those couple of weeks, you feel those negative feelings. But what happens when you hang on to those negative feelings? Well, now, all of a sudden, a few weeks turns into several months. Well, now, what do we call a mood you're in for several months? We call that a temperament. Now, because you're hanging on to the resentment for so long, your mood has now become a temperament. And it gets even harder to shake that resentment. But then what happens when you still don't address the issue? Weeks have turned into months and months have turned into years. Now we're past the stage of temperament into something else, a personality trait. Now when you hang on to negative emotions for years, they become part of who you are. Mood, temperament, personality trait, that's how it works. So you went from a resentful mood to a resentful temperament to a resentful personality trait. Now you're just resentful. So here's the $1 million question. How do you prevent a mood from becoming a temperament and ultimately a personality trait? Well, how do you keep situations and people who trigger negative emotions in you from making you become a bitter, anxious, untrusting, closed-minded, or fearful person? T3, aka the turnaround tool, that's how. Now the turnaround tool is a specific set of questions that are going to provide you with peace of mind, help you get over past and current emotional traumas faster, make it so that whatever other people do and say doesn't send you off the deep end. They're going to help you be the bigger person in virtually any situation, and it's going to be the tool you use to deal with stress and anxiety in a constructive manner. But most importantly, T3 is a tool that's going to help you understand and love yourself more every time you use it. Okay, enough talking about it. Let's see T3 in action so you can grasp exactly what I mean. I'm going to share a T3 I did to illustrate just how powerful it is. Don't worry about writing these questions down. If you make it to the end of this, I promise I'll send you a copy. The questions I'm about to share with you are a compilation. An amazing man named Garrett J. White created something known as the stack. The stack is a tool he uses inside of his movement known as Wake Up Warrior, which is heavily influenced by a beautiful writer by the name of Byron Katie. Now I've taken the stack, Katie's work, and added some pieces that I came up with that worked for me. So here we go. But first, a warning. The following is not for sensitive ears. If you don't like F-bombs or profanity, you're probably going to want to press mute until you see I've gone on to question number 2. But even then, I'll apologize because there may still be some F-bombs here and there, but they will be scarce, but that's just how I roll. Alright, so here's the situation. This was years ago when my ex-wife left me after finding out I'd cheated on her, and this T3 is in regards to a friend of mine. Now, question number 1 is to feel your feelings. Without any filters, describe the situation, including the person or people involved that are triggering your negative emotions. What are you feeling and why? Do not hold back. And this is what I had to say. Now, Brad, you are such a fucking piece of shit. First, you reach your hand out like a good friend when I need you most, leaving me a voicemail saying that you're here for me, and then an hour later, after you find out what I did, you send me a text like a fucking coward saying, just found out what happened, so disappointed, hope it was worth it. Who the fuck are you to judge me? Have you never made a fucking mistake in your fucking life, you judgmental piece of shit? You know what? Fuck you. You think I want friends like you in my life who are gonna spit on me in my lowest moments? I hope you and your fucking miserable marriage last forever. Kiss my ass, you fucking piece of shit. Alright, now that we've had an opportunity to feel the feelings, question number 2. The should-shouldn't story. What is the story you're telling yourself about the person, people, or situation? What should or shouldn't they be doing? This is only going to be one sentence beginning with should or shouldn't. Brad shouldn't have fucking bailed on me when I needed him the most. Question number 3 is a message in the mirror. Now you write down the should-shouldn't story statement, except this time you replace the person, people, situation you're judging with yourself. So I, me, or myself. I shouldn't have fucking bailed on myself when I needed myself the most. Now, question number 4 is power and proof. You're going to list 3 experiences from your past or present that support the message in the mirror. These are 3 situations where you were doing or being exactly what you're judging the other person or situation for doing or being. For me, at my track meets, oftentimes I never even went up to the start line, so I was totally bailing on myself. Inside of my relationships, up until then, biting on my tongue and never talking about my true feelings because I didn't want to hurt other people's feelings. And finally, starting businesses. I've tried to start so many different businesses and completely bailed on myself when it started to get hard and never actually gave myself to reach my potential. Now, question number 5 is learning to live with love. Looking at your should-shouldn't story and your message in the mirror. How would you feel and how would you act if you let go of both? What would the love version of yourself look like? Well, I would be forgiving, compassionate, understanding, and patient. I would allow myself and others to walk our paths without judgment. Question number 6 is facing the fear. Looking at your should-shouldn't story and your message in the mirror again, how would you feel and how would you act if you chose not to let go of both? What would the fear version of yourself look like? I would be such a dick for sure. I would judge the shit out of myself and others. I would continue to lie and cheat and not live a life worth living at all. Now, question number 7, live with love or fall with fear. Now, which version of yourself do you want to be remembered as being? The version that acts in accordance with love or fear? For me, it's love, always and always. Now, question number 8, focus on forgiveness. List 3 empowering benefits you will receive as a result of forgiving the person or people or situation who triggered your negative emotions. Well, 1, obviously I'm going to have peace of mind if I just let it go. I'd have the opportunity for future friendship with Brad, and by forgiving others, I'm ultimately learning how to forgive myself, which is really the most important thing at the end of the day. Now, question number 9, forget about forgiveness. Now list 3 disempowering consequences as a result of clinging to the judgments and refusing to forgive the person, people, or situation who triggered your negative emotions. Well, here, I would have 0 true friends because all my friendships would be conditional. I'd never truly love myself and I'd be a resentful son of a bitch for the rest of my life. Number 10 is probably the most important, and this is where we look for the lesson. What is the biggest gift or lesson you can take away from this experience? Judging others for judging me is not a better form of judgment. Hate only breeds more hate. Love is the only thing that can triumph over hate, which is why I'm choosing love. Question number 11, act with authenticity. What specifically are you going to do in the next 48 hours to apply the lesson in your life? A specific, measurable task that will be a part of your prep work. So this is where we actually take what we're writing down and put it to action in our everyday lives. Now, I'm going to write a letter to Brad. I'm not going to mail it or send it to him or anything like that. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to write it down. I'm going to forgive him so that I myself can move on, accept it, and just forgive and have my own peace of mind. Now, question 12 is freedom through forgiveness. Can you think of a stress-free reason not to forgive the other person, people, situation that triggered your negative emotions? Here, no, I can't. And finally, grow through gratitude. Write out your forgiveness in the form of a gratitude statement to the other person, people, or situation. Thank them for pointing you towards a lesson. Thank you, Brad, for giving me one of the best opportunities I have ever been given to define who I want to be. Without experiences like this and actions like yours, I would be lost. The best way to become who I am is to first experience who I am not. And Brad gave me that opportunity. So I went from calling Brad to having compassion for him and thanking him for showing me to myself. Imagine you could do this with every painful person or situation in your life. Well, now you can. Pillar key number 4 is the truth. I've saved the best for last here. I wouldn't necessarily say it's the best, but it is by far the most important. Without this piece, none of the other pieces matter because you won't use them anyways. Why are you worth it? This is the single most important question you will ever answer, and it will probably be the hardest one you will ever answer too. So let me share Lisa's as well as my why I'm worth it statements with you. Lisa's is because I want to be a living, breathing example of happiness and fulfillment. I want my kids to witness me pursuing my passions, chasing my dreams, and being a fierce go-getter who is willing to live out loud. I want to feed my soul so that I can nourish those I love. Now that's just part of her statement. She had 2 pages of this, and that's just the first part of it. As for mine, here's how it goes. There is greatness inside of me. I fucking know this. There's greatness in everyone around me. I can see it. But the only way I can help others to see their own greatness is for me to first see my own. There's so much love inside me, so much beauty. It is my time to let it out, to share it with the world. There's so much good in me. It is my time to let it out, to share it with the world. There's so much pain inside of me. It is my time to let it out, to share it with the world. There's so much fear and darkness inside of me. It is my time to let it out, to share it with the world. I am worth being unveiled to the world. The world will love me for it. I will love myself for it. I'm worth all the love, the good, the pain, the fear, and the darkness I experience. If it were not so, it would not be so. I am fucking worth it. Now, fact, if you don't believe you're worth it, you'll never love yourself enough to put yourself first. And if you don't love yourself enough to put yourself first, your physical health will suffer. Your relationships will suffer. Your emotional well-being will suffer. And your professional fulfillment will suffer. You, along with everything and everyone, will suffer if you don't believe you are worth putting yourself first. So before I finish up here, I'm going to have you consider something. Mel Robbins, author of the 5-Second Rule, put it best when she said this: you are only one decision away from a completely different life. This could be that decision. The decision to give yourself a second chance. A second chance at life, which too many people will never get. I sincerely hope from the center of my heart that you hear this calling. Whether we get to work closely together or not, I hope that you get the support that you need to discover the truth. And that truth is that when it comes to putting yourself first, you are worth it. Now in a second, I'm going to invite you to do something. Something that will change your life. Not something that can change your life, but something that will change your life. But before I do you want to know what people regret most when they're on their deathbeds? Here are the top 5 regrets of the dying. Number 1, I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself and not what others expected of me. Number 2 is I wish I hadn't worked so hard. Number 3 is I wish I had the courage to express my feelings. Number 4, I wish I'd stayed in touch with my friends. And number 5, I wish that I had let myself be happier. Now, if you want to avoid looking back and regret, here's what I'm going to invite you to do. Below this video, you'll see a button that reads Book My One-on-One Call. I'm going to invite you to click on that button and schedule a free 45-minute call with me. During the call, I'm going to describe the 90-day self-empowerment challenge for you. I'm going to answer any questions you have about what I went over right here, help you begin applying the tools we covered here immediately, and possibly invite you to be a part of the challenge. Now, I say possibly because after you schedule your call, you're going to get your first assignment. Now, complete the assignment, and we have our call. No assignment, no call. I told you that the 90-day self-empowerment challenge is only for women who really want it. And the challenge itself is going to have 3 lessons per week. So if you can't do this assignment, you're never going to make it through the 90 days. Now, I'm not going to tell you what the assignment is. Instead, I'm going to ask you a very simple yes or no question. Is this your time? Is this your time to truly start loving yourself? Yes or no? If your answer is yes, then click the button below. Schedule your one-on-one call with me, and let's start doing things the same way we crush an awesome workout. 1 set at a time, 1 rep at a time. In everyday life, we take it 1 day at a time, 1 step at a time. We got this.